Fat burning is not the same as fat loss. You guys need to stop confusing the two. Yes, fat burning is part of how your body loses fat, but it's not the entire process. The loss or gain of body fat is called fat balance. This is the balance between how much fat you burn and how much fat you store. Both of these processes are happening all the time, but it's the relative rates at which they happen that causes the net effect of either fat storage or fat loss. So fat balance equals fat storage minus fat burning. If fat storage is less than fat burning, you're going to have a net loss of body fat. If fat storage is greater than fat burning, you'll have a net gain of body fat. If fat storage equals fat burning, there will be no change in body fat. So how does this pertain to the science of nutrition when people are promoting certain diets for better fat burning? If we look at two extremes of the diet spectrum, you got low carb, high fat, and high carb, low fat. Which one of the two is going to be better for fat loss? Well, on a low carb, high fat diet, you're absolutely going to be burning more fat. And in a high carb, low fat diet, you're absolutely going to be burning less fat. And the reason for this is when you're on a high carb, low fat diet, your body is going to prioritize the burning of carbohydrates because that's going to be the primary fuel to be oxidized for energy. Whereas when you're doing high fat, low carb, you have limited amounts of carbs, but you're going to have a high amount of fat coursing through your body to be used as energy. So this would mean that a low carb, high fat diet would be best for fat loss, right? Not necessarily. We've only addressed one side of the equation, and that's fat burning. But what about fat storage? 98% of the fat that we store comes from the fat that we eat. And only less than 2% of our fat stores originate from the carbohydrates that we eat, which means the carbohydrates that we eat is not a significant player in the fat stored in our body. So while you burn a lot of fat on a low carb, high fat diet, you also store a lot of fat from the fat that you're eating in that high fat diet. And on a high carb, low fat diet, you're not burning as much fat as energy, but you're also not storing as much fat. So what determines the gain or loss of body fat? You guessed it, energy balance. That old phrase, calories in versus calories out. Very, very simple. So that's why when we look at studies done on fat loss or fat gain, diets that are equal in calories and protein intake, but vary fat and carb intake, have similar results in fat loss over time. We also don't see a difference in fat gain between overeating in fat versus carbs. So when you're hearing all this information on the internet about you must be burning fat, we have to find the best way to burning fat, it's not necessarily burning the fat that you need to be focusing on. And this alone could be confusing you and hindering you from reaching your goals. Fat burning is not the same as loss of body fat. This is why different styles of cardio don't necessarily burn more fat than any other style of cardio when looked at total amount of work or total amount of calories burned in that exercise. So when it comes to losing body fat, don't worry so much about fat burning and just worry more about how much you're putting in versus how much you're putting out. Calories in versus calories out is going to lead the way on fat loss every single time. If this video was useful to you, hit the thumbs up button on this video. And if you want, leave me a comment whether you agree or disagree to the information that I put out. I will also put down the links to the studies that I used for this video. And I also have a supplement company called Apogee Performance Nutrition. The link is in the description below. Go ahead and check out my pre-workout. It's brand new to the market, but I guarantee you, if you use it, you will love it.